Copyright essentials, or I love my job and want to keep it. Educational use. Educational use, a watchword and a way of living for most educators, and it has never been questioned in the classroom. A big reason for this is that individuals who had rights to certain information would be hard-pressed to discover every possible infringement in every possible classroom. It was simply too cumbersome to worry about. However, as our educational reach has extended online, so has our exposure to our practices. Thus, there is need to examine and modify those online practices with the law and its growth into electronic media. What we used to do. Myth. The doctrine of fair use means that copyrighted materials can be used in an educational setting without permission. Education is one purpose that may be used. There is no blanket permission if you are using it for education. You still need to get permission. Fair use can be determined by 4 complex criteria that will be discussed, but it is important to keep in mind and adhere to the standards. We want our students to adhere to standards, so we ourselves should set the example and keep that in mind. What we should do now. What we do now. Most instructors simply take what they have done in reference to copyright and take that online, and honestly, it does not cause overwhelming issues. However, it is our job to adhere to the law since we are representatives of our respective workplaces, be that secondary educational institution, college, or private industries. Thus, training and forethought is needed when we move our classrooms and training online. What laws affect us? First, fair use. Number 1. Purpose and character of the use, whether it is for commercial nature or nonprofit uses. In nonprofit, have a better chance of being fair than corporate. 2. Nature of the copyrighted work. Non-fiction more likely considered fair. Published works are more protected. Printed works more than audiovisual. 3. The amount of portion used in relation to work as a whole. Fair use can be defended in the amount of work is just what is needed and no more. There is also a qualitative portion. If the copied amount captures the essence of the work, then fair use may be difficult to put into play. 4. Effects of use on market and value of material. If by fair use it cuts into the copyright holder's monies or sales. Exclusive rights of copyright holders. They have the right to reproduce the work, prepare derivative works, distribute copies of works, perform the copyrighted work, and display the work publicly. Title 17. Title 17 of the U.S. Code, or Public Law 94-553, Section 102, does in fact have an effect. It says that works fixed in a tangible medium of expression, known or to be later developed from, which they can be perceived, reproduced, or otherwise communicated, either directly or with the aid of a machine or device. This lays out 2 critical conditions which are needed. Works, and they are tangible and expressive ideas, number 1. 2. The work must be fixed in a medium of expression. You'll notice that each one of these gives us a category, so we're able to easily define what makes up certain copyrighted material and what we have to do when it does make up copyrighted material to go about solving the issue. How should we change? We as instructors can no longer dismiss our work as covered under fair use. As we move online, we must be knowledgeable about the policies and look at our practices and the practices of our colleges with a more critical eye towards alignment with the law, colleges and colleagues. Gone are the times where we exist in a vacuum, within our room, doing what we need to do and churning out grades. Everything we do is under the microscope of the wider world, and we must apply ourselves with those thoughts in mind. We have to keep in mind aspects of the law and point out with an air of constructive criticism what our colleagues do wrong, and what we ourselves do wrong in order to better us as a whole. It is a different way to think, and it's upon us now whether we like it or not.